What's up and good morning, guys? Welcome back to another video. This video is going to mark a momentous occasion here. It's going to be our first decent sized concrete pour over here at Ryno Ranch and kind of the big kickoff event to getting our ranch entrance done. Today is obviously the day before the pour, and we got a lot of prep work that we have to do to make sure that we are ready because it's already 89 degrees out. Tomorrow's supposed to be even hotter, which is the day that we're pouring. So it's risky to pour when it's very hot, but we're trying to make sure we do all the steps today that we are prepared for tomorrow. And I got a couple cool new little things to show you guys. One of which is right here. And I guess our donkeys decided to open the box for me. So hopefully this thing works because I don't think she's really getting returned at this point. But one of the things we're going to be doing with our concrete is I'm going to be doing a sand finish. And I've shown that at my old house, but I don't know if I've ever shown the process. So you're going to see the process in this video, but here's a little rundown of what you need. It takes top cast, which is a surface retardant. So basically this prevents like the cream layer on top of the concrete from drying. So you see how this concrete is smooth? That is because they troweled out a creamy layer on top and then it dried and hardened as a nice smooth creamy layer. Well, this prevents that from drying fully, so the next day we can come wash it off and it exposes just a little bit of the aggregate, which makes it a real sandy style finish. Not totally exposed aggregate where you see all the rocks and stuff. That's not my style. So in case you guys are wondering, this is about $1,400 worth of material right here. This stuff is stupid expensive. Also, we got to be able to spray this on. So we don't want any malfunctions tomorrow. We've got 2 other sprayers coming. We need to be able to spray pretty far because the driveway is super wide. So we happen upon this new product here, Tomahawk Concrete Sprayer. It is a gas-powered pump sprayer. Don't know, have never used one, have never even seen one. So we're gonna get this thing fired up and all set up today because again, we got a very early concrete pour. Everything needs to work today, not tomorrow. I got Papa Ryno on his way up. He's bringing me some 2-stroke fuel so we can put in this thing and give the old Tomahawk here a try. This is kind of a cool thing. I bet this thing sprays super far. All right, y'all, so we've got the Tomahawk here assembled. And by assembled, I mean we put the straps on and the hose on. They do include a nice little mixing container if you need to mix your fuel, and it's got a nice pour spout, so I might actually end up using this. You're gonna fill it up with water now to do a little test run. Cool thing is it's got a built-in strainer here. She is definitely heavy, and I've only got like a gallon or 2 of water in her. Spray's good though. It's got a big old strong stream. Let's go wash the 6.0. Portable wash station, backpack wash station. Coming to a truck show near you. So thankfully at this house, the old owner used to use hoses for a lot of stuff. So the other day I'm like, man, we keep pulling this trailer back and forth. I wonder if I have enough hoses here for my hoses and the hoses that the previous owner left on the property to make a run all the way from the house all the way out to this tank and just fill the water from here. And sure enough, we managed to scrounge together enough hoses, and there's actually really great pressure at this house. So I'd say that's probably about 600 feet there of hose, and we have great pressure on this end to fill this tank. Basically, you know, we let this fill all day long. When we need high volumes of water, we pump it out of the tank. But good news is we're gonna need the hoses anyway to run down here to run the pressure washer that we bought when we're cleaning the top cast off of the concrete. Now we're making a quick pit stop over at James's. We're gonna grab his dump trailer because I wanna go pick up my Mini X to have it on site for tomorrow's concrete pour, just in case we can't reach all the way out with the sprayers or the wind's blowing and it's fighting us. I could throw somebody in the bucket, reach them out, and they'll be able to spray the concrete with the top cast. Oh, looks like he's getting it pulled off for us. So we've got the trailer acquired here. We're gonna head back to the job site, do a quick little grade over there before we take the Mini X off. That way the job site and everything's clean until we bring the Mini X and some equipment back over there for the next phase. Mini X is all loaded up. It's gonna be off this job site for a little while until we gotta come back in and do the trenching for the electrical to the steel building. Now, while we're in the mood for testing everything prior to the concrete pour, we're not gonna use the pressure washer on the first day of the pour, but the second day when we're washing all the surface retardant off, we're gonna need the pressure washer. So we're gonna try out the new pressure washer here. The old one we had got stolen, and this is the best model I could find locally in stock in town. I know there's 10,000 versions. I'm sure there's gonna be some comments being like, you should have bought this one, but I was in a time crunch, so I bought what was available. I'm gonna get the old Mini X here completely washed down. I don't wanna be reaching out over the concrete and you know, little clumps of dirt and stuff come off into the concrete. The finishers will not be happy with me. And then we're gonna spray out James's trailer because we got a little bit of dirt in there. So let's see how the new pressure washer works. Mini X is all cleaned up. Trailer's all cleaned up. We are pretty much ready to go for tomorrow. I'm gonna run down tonight right as it gets dark. I'm gonna re-water that whole area that we're gonna be pouring in, and then in the morning we're gonna do the same thing. And hopefully the DG retains some moisture so it doesn't immediately start sucking it all out of the concrete, and it'll buy us a little bit of time. We're gonna be up bright and early. I think the guys are showing up at 6 a.m. so I will see you guys in the morning.
Well, good morning, sleepy puppy. Are you guys ready to work today?
All right, y'all. Today is the big day. Get ready for a day of hecticness, screaming, chaos, time crunch. It's gonna get pretty wild today, I think. It is currently 5:30 in the morning. Already 65 degrees out, so we're keeping a close eye on the weather. Ain't much we can do at this point. We're going for it.
Donkeys, are you guys all ready to work this morning? You waiting to get up in the truck? We're gonna take our gas-powered sprayer, which I wish had like a single hand handle. It's got two big handles right here. Obviously, when this thing's full, it's gonna be heavy. And then we've got our backup hand pump sprayer here.
Let's make our drive down to the gate. We got the guys starting to show up. I see the concrete finishers. We got Papa Ryno here. It's Papa Ryno's birthday, by the way, today. We got Tanner, A1 Concrete Pumping. Good morning, A1.
What up, dude?
What up, homie?
How are you?
Good, good.
This is it, huh?
You ready?
Yeah.
Getting her watered one last time here. Again, trying to keep the dirt from sucking all the moisture out of the concrete too quick.
Yeah, you can just send them all, man. We're ready. Rapid fire.
Yeah, two. Third one's getting loaded now, so.
Sweet. Then you got another one. You got another truck to send too behind that.
We got two on the road, and then the third one's getting loaded right now.
Perfect.
What about the fourth one?
And then the fourth one is coming. We're not. Are we round tripping or no?
The fourth one's probably gonna be the first truck there.
Okay.
Don't give us a fucking cold joint, dude.
Okay, man. Thanks, bud.
So far things are going great. Our trucks are about an hour late. The temperature's only rising, so we're gonna water it again. I think we got a truck pulling up right now though. And then the fun thing is they're supposed to send us 4 trucks out just immediately. One right after the other, because we don't have time to wait for a truck to loop back around. We're far from the concrete plant. But sounds like they're only sending us 3 trucks, which means the first truck that comes here, once he's emptied out, he has to go back and he's gonna be our 4th truck. That's quite a long delay there. And we don't want that concrete to harden up. It's called a cold joint, basically, where concrete hardens up before we can get the next fresh batch up next to it. If that happens, we're in big trouble. So better late than never. Unfortunately, being so far out, a lot of the big name companies won't come all the way out here. So we got to go to the smaller independent companies. We do, however, have the best of the best. A1 Concrete Pumping coming out here. Appreciate them. Tanner, Tim, all the guys over there. Goal right now is to get the first truck unloaded as quickly as we can. That way he can start making his round trip back. We made great time on the first truck, got it unloaded in about 5 minutes or so. We should have the other truck right behind it, but clearly that's not exactly going according to plan today. They were supposed to be back to back to back, though there was no waiting in between trucks. We're gonna run back to the house right now. We're gonna grab the 6 buckets of top cast because when it's ready for top cast, there's not gonna be a whole lot of waiting around, so we gotta make sure, gotta have everything pre-staged here. You know, we always try to do our part to plan, and unfortunately it's usually somebody else that throws kind of a monkey wrench into the plan, but you can see if we got finishers standing around hanging out, that's not good. These guys are super efficient, super good at what they do. We can handle 4 trucks back to back, no problem. But now we're here waiting for truck number 2.
That's where we're at right now. We'll just keep watering down the grade. That's all we can do.
We already dumped out a truck. Our trucks are supposed to be 20 minutes apart. What's going on? We can't afford a cold joint out here, dude. It's too hot.
Yeah, second truck's pulling up right now, so you should be there any minute.
You're showing them on your GPS?
Yeah.
See it up against the fence post over there.
This ain't even one of their trucks.
And you got the ticket on you?
So we got the second truck here. You guys can see on the side of the truck there, it's an independent driver for a smaller independent ready mix company. So it tells you already they overbooked today, which is dumb because we've had this booked out for 2 weeks. We were the first pour of the morning too. It's not like we were midday or anything like that to where things could already start getting backed up. So They're scrambling to get us truck. We stick Papa Ryno on them on the phone, but at this point, there's really nothing we can do. We're kind of at their mercy, and hopefully the trucks get here on time. This one's about an hour late from what the first one should have been, or the second one. They should have been back to back to back to back to back. So it's only getting hotter. Hopefully this goes off well. I'm not sure.
Abel's over here pulling all the screws. If you guys remember, we taped them all off with the red. You can see right there the duct tape on there. Make them easy to find, and so concrete doesn't get in them. So the whole front face of this curb is going to get stripped. So this whole form right here is going to be coming off because they got to finish the whole front side. Back side, again, we don't really care about. It's going to be planter back here. Dirt's going to get pushed up against it, so we're not going to worry about trying to finish the back side. Just that front side.
Supposedly he's the third.
That's what I'm saying. See, there was a truck broke down.
Yeah, he is back on the road.
He said he's 15 minutes out.
All right, so it turns out the truck that we have right now is our third truck. Our second truck apparently broke down on its way here. This is the fun stuff about pouring concrete, because again, there's nothing we can do at this point. We're so far from a concrete batch plant. And the kicker is, the second truck's back on the road now, but now he's got hot mud, because the second that truck gets loaded, your countdown timer is starting for the concrete that's in the truck. So he's been sitting on the side of the road somewhere. So our third load is probably gonna go off faster than the load we just unloaded off the truck right now. And then we don't even know where the fourth one is, because that's the first truck that has to loop back around. So again, we're keeping water on the grade here, and hopefully this works out. I don't know.
So you can see him stripping the forms over there on that curb. Exposing that whole edge right there.
So load number 3 is here, which is number 2, a hot load. We gotta get him unloaded quick. All right, third truck is out. So looking all right, looking all right. Looks like we're gonna make it on the fourth truck. Obviously we had to order more mud than we thought we needed, significantly more. Just in case, you never know, sometimes you eat up more mud than you calculate, and there's no way to get a cleanup, which is basically you calculate how much you think you need, and then your last truck usually is called a cleanup. So say, oh man, we're a couple yards short. You call the plant, they'll send out another truck with a couple yards in it. That doesn't really work when you're rural. You gotta order more than you think you need, because you ain't getting a cleanup, especially in time for to get it in here before the concrete starts to harden. What's up, Tanner? You don't trust the fourth truck's gonna be here in time? Dude, no. So Tanner, the concrete pumper, is gonna clean out all of his hose, because we don't want it drying in the hose either, because that's a bigger nightmare. He doesn't trust the fourth truck's gonna be here anytime soon, which is not a good thing. You guys can already see just how hard the concrete is getting behind me here, so we're gonna be ready to spray the top cast on like ASAP. So I'm gonna go grab the Mini X. Abel's already grabbing the top cast with Poppy over here. We're gonna get the sprayers filled and start spraying quickly, because you only got so much time to get that top cast on to keep the surface layer from drying.
Don't ponle codo, ponle maybe medio top cast.
Acá ten.
Sí, no ponle mucho.
So, going for my 100-degree heat jog here to get the Mini X. Let's get her fired up. We opted to not fill it up the whole 6.5 gallons. It's a lot of weight.
Okay, right there. She's getting hard.
So you can see when they're having to hammer in the submarine or any of their joiners, you know that stuff's getting hard. So you can see right after they trowel it, Abel's coming behind and just spraying the top cast on it, because there's no time to wait. That surface layer is gonna start drying really quick, and that's what we're trying to keep from drying. We're getting sprayer number 2 ready over here. Our backup Husqvarna. We're gonna grab the one box here that the donkeys haven't eaten yet. So we're not gonna do sand finish on the entire driveway. We're only gonna be doing the sand finish from basically where the V's come up and where it straightens out. That's where we're gonna do sand finish. I want the whole front part to be broomed and to make it look like a residential approach. Again, I'm trying to make this area look a little more residential.
Yeah.
So basically what we didn't want to happen is happening. That whole edge right there is hardening up before the fourth truck's getting back. We've been calling and calling and calling. They can't give us an ETA on the fourth truck. This is the nightmare we tried to avoid. And if you guys notice, they're only cutting joints down by the road. Again, I want to make it look like a residential approach. Everything from the road, or everything from that V up, is going to be all saw cut tomorrow. And we kind of did that in anticipation of this stuff's going to get hard fast. Let's not overwork ourselves and not get ourselves in a bind by trying to cut all those joints, and they get too hard and all of a sudden we can't cut the joints in. So we try to do everything on our part to make sure that this went smoothly. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about the concrete company.
Yeah, I'll take one. Thank you, sir.
What a nightmare, guys. What a nightmare. So kind of what we're worried about is you can see this top layer right here is already hardened. I mean, you might be able to get a little fingerprint in it, maybe, but that stuff's hard right there. So trying to mate up the next concrete to that and get rid of that seam, it's gonna be really tough to do. Now, honestly, one of the main reasons I went to go with sand finish up top there and not broom is we knew this would be hardening in different stages. So if you're trying to broom in one stage, you wait a little bit, try and broom in another stage, or if it gets a little too hard when you're brooming it, you're gonna see the broom strokes, which are, you can see these strokes right here. This is a broom finish. You see how you see the lines, and so if you do that at different points and different times, certain parts are gonna dry, certain parts are gonna be a little bit deeper if the concrete's a little wetter, and you're gonna see each broom stroke. Eventually they'll wear out as you drive over it and stuff, but I didn't want this to have like 42 different checkerboarded brush strokes in it from the brooming, especially up there. You'd be brooming it in different directions. So that's why we opted to go sand finish up top. Now you're really gonna see 2 different broom strokes in it when you have concrete that is dried against concrete that is fresh. All right, y'all, we're gonna try and put Abel in the bucket here. We're gonna send him out over. This would have been ideal for the gas powered sprayer. We should have switched out real quick.
So now's the fun part of trying to blend the old and the new here. Not gonna be easy, especially considering we had to spray the top cast on the old stuff because it was already drying.
And unfortunately, we won't know until we wash that top cast off tomorrow morning how good or how bad it turned out. So since we ordered a bunch of extra mud, well, not a bunch of extra mud, but we have some extra, I'm paying for it, we're using it, so we're gonna use it to make a little swell right here that the water can run off on the concrete before it gets to the dirt, so it doesn't end up washing away the dirt after our drain pipe. So we just got a little ditch here roughed in. Again, this wasn't really planned, but we're using the extra concrete that we have, so we'll pour it in here. Eventually, I want to do some like curb and gutter system, but for now, this will work, get us through a couple rainstorms here.
Yeah, because they got a big cold joint going in here. They wanted them 20 minutes apart, and that wasn't even close.
These guys are fighting right now to burn out that edge and hopefully not be able to see the transition from the concrete that went off and the new concrete. I don't know, guys. Again, we're not really going to know until tomorrow. I'm hoping for the best. We did end up talking to the owner of the Ready Mix. He did end up taking care of us a little bit, ate the cost of the hot load that came out. So things go wrong. We try to plan it as much as we can. The planning on their end ended up getting screwed up. But my big thing is things happen as long as you try and make them right. Unfortunately though, if this looks like crap, I'm still stuck with a crappy looking driveway entrance. And this is like the most important piece. If it happened like in the middle of the driveway all the way up to the house, wouldn't be that big a deal. But right here in the very front, like that's my showpiece. It's gonna suck. We're not gonna know till tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go. Spray the water. Yeah, put that water, that helps out. Hey,
All right, y'all, well, she is all poured out. It's 12 o'clock, so 5 hours. We could have been done a lot sooner if the trucks were on time and actually came when they're supposed to, but 5 hours, not bad. Got everything laid down. I mean, it is, you could dang near walk on it right now. That's how hard it is already. Hopefully it comes out all right.
Hopefully this cold joint ends up blending in.
All right, now the concrete work is done. One thing I've wanted to test since we got it up here is
The floor scrubber here to see if it makes it quicker to clean up all the peacock poop that's on the back patios. Yes, from you.
or if it's just gonna make peacock poop stew. Oh, Gunner, let's not eat the peacock poop, all right? These peacocks poop straight up like big dogs. I mean, you can see
That's a significant sized turd coming out of a little bird.
the reason I brought this one here is the suction doesn't work very good because it's got a straight squeegee on the back instead of a curved one that kind of traps the water and brings it up to the vacuum hose. So out here it's ideal because I don't need the suction. We'll just let it all drain off into the planters, but let's see what happens.
Just got it full of water. Let's try this whole little test strip right here. This thing also likes to kind of take off on its own. Get our brushes going. We're going. I think we can adjust the water on her here. Let's kick the water up to all the water. There we go, there we go. All the water.
Well, can't say I'm overly impressed. It does take a lot of water to move, like all the sediment and stuff off the surface of the concrete. This thing, while it does put off too much water from my warehouse, it doesn't quite put off enough that I would like. I don't see this being any faster than pressure washing. So I hate to say it, but that might be my first scrubber slash sweeper fail purchase. I mean, other than I got it for $100, put some batteries in it, the thing runs great. It's just this might not be the right application, or the brushes could be a little bit worn out for concrete. Not gonna work for what I intended it for, so we'll either sell it or I'm sure we'll find another use for it. Now, tomorrow's the day that's got me very nervous. This is the day we're gonna spray off all of that top cast. We're gonna be saw cutting our joints, and it's gonna be the time we're gonna reveal whether or not that cold joint completely screwed up the look of my new driveway. Today's gonna be the big reveal day of the concrete that we poured yesterday, and as to whether or not it looks like absolute crap thanks to the concrete company screwing up the truck schedule and yada, yada, yada. I can hear Abel and Chava down at the gate right now. They have the pressure washer running. They've already been washing the top cast off this morning, so let's go check on it. Got Chava in the golf cart, taking some of the little pieces of concrete that were left over. This would be an ideal day to have the mini truck out here, but we're still getting that thing all dialed in at the shop. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I am very, very nervous right now on how this is gonna look. Last night, everything was drying at different rates, and you could definitely see the line of where the concrete started to go off and where the last batch came in. And again, at this point, there ain't really anything we can do. We're not gonna break it all out and start over. So I can already see Abel hitting that spot real hard with the pressure washer. Probably means it's visible. All right, guys, it doesn't look that bad. You can see there is definitely a line there. And again, basically what the top cast does, which is the white stuff that we sprayed yesterday, it stops that little tiny layer of cream on top, and that's when you'll see them hard troweling it. They're making the cream come up to the top of the concrete, and that's what gives you that smooth finish. So what the top cast does is it doesn't let that fully dry. It lets us come in the next day, wash off the top cast, and it exposes just a little bit of the aggregate. So again, this is called sand finish. It's not a fully exposed aggregate where you see like the big gravel and the rocks or anything like that. So what I think happened right where that cold joint was is where they hard troweled it, it started to harden up a little too much before we got the top cast on there. So the top cast couldn't really do its job in preventing that spot from hardening. I'm willing to bet it looks a little better right now than it will when it's dry because it is wet. So this right here is a perfect example of the different textures of concrete. I personally love sand finish, which is, so obviously we got sand finish up against a broom finish, which is, it's basically like the most basic style when it comes to anything outside or anything that any of us can be walking on aside from your garage or your foundation. It has to have texture in it, obviously, so it's slip resistant. So broom is like the most atypical. Now, the reason that I like stamp finish so much is it gives you a custom look without the maintenance of stamp finish. You guys have ever seen stamped concrete? You stamp a pattern in, you throw a bunch of different colored powders on top of it, but then you gotta maintain it. You gotta have a sealer over top, and you gotta maintain that sealer every couple of years. And the second you don't maintain that sealer, it starts to get cloudy and white, and it looks absolutely horrible, and then you end up just painting your concrete. And you'll see it a lot in driveways.
What do we got pulling up here? We got one cool mom.
Hey.
Are you the cool mom?
I'm pretty cool.
Well, I'm glad you brought the ranch truck with the brush guard on the front.
My parallel Parker.
Is that what that is?
I wanted to give her one on the back too. It always seemed like she was upset when I mentioned.
So Abel went ahead and got the entire driveway washed. Obviously there's still like some cleaning we got to do down there, dried up a little bit, but we are going to, at this point, proceed to mark out all of our diamonds that we're going to be saw cutting in today. That's what Dave is here for. He's the master magician of pumping things into the computer and pumping out real life stuff that is like proportionate and where they should be. Yeah, you can kind of see the line here of where the cold joint was. It's not as bad in person as it probably looks on camera. So it's not the end of the world, and by the time we start cutting all of our joints in here, it's gonna start to look busy, and it'll hopefully take your eye away from this big, long, straight line here coming down the driveway.
It's not Pancho Villa.
Oh, it's Dave.
Dave.
Oh, yeah. You got the good stuff though.
Yeah.
55% more.
Now.
All right.
Now here.
Can I get that in a camera-friendly screen, Dave?
Nope.
No.
Pink there.
The lane is going to look bueno.
Pink there is
self-explanatory, I think.
That looked like an edge of concrete.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And you can see how if we start there, we're gonna end up not there. There.
Right.
I don't know if I like that.
It looks like we're getting some smaller diamonds in there.
Yeah,
on
it
those
almost
edges.
seems. Okay, so let's do this. So let's do U, SC, previous. We'll do the same. Geometric center.
So the reason we had Dave come out here today to kind of draw this up in AutoCAD is the way everything kind of squared up off of a road that doesn't really have a defined edge to the gate that we're kind of having to define what is square because there's really nothing to square off of. We know for a fact everything here is just a hair out of square in one way or another. Not enough to ever see, but if you start putting like super square diamonds cut into it, you're gonna start to notice something might be just a little out of whack. So instead, we're gonna opt to cheat it just a little bit so that your eye thinks everything is all nice and perfectly squared up.
108 3/4 strong.
Let's try it.
All right.
You wanna try it? 108 3/4 strong. Let me write it down because I might forget.
How many yesterday did we use?
108.
The buckets, the top cast.
3/4 strong.
You got it.
Chalk line, let's go. All
Alright, I'm down.
right, buddy, here we go.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright. I feel like that went well, Ryno.
It looks good, Dave. Looks good, buddy. I see the line.
Fire.
You want him to hold it down like that or just snap it?
He wants a thicker line, so he's probably better. Now, this is the part I don't even want to watch because Chava's going to be making the cuts and we got one shot at these cuts being straight. There's no way to fix a weird, crooked, or a wonky cut. So fingers crossed, Chava's got this. We're opting to dry cut it. And I know it's going to be controversial that we're dry cutting it. And we're doing it by hand with smaller tools and not using a big walk behind. Trust me, the accuracy this way is a lot better than using a big walk behind with water where you can't really see your lines. And you can't really get up close to the curb that we poured. So Chava went through real quick and scored everything with just a Makita grinder. That way he doesn't lose the lines when he comes and follows them up with the skill saw. He'll end up deepening them and he'll get a consistent depth at that point. First trying to get a consistent depth with a grinder. Currently about 100, 102 degrees out here. The Harbor Freight Predator over there has been running consistently for the last like 3 hours, I would say. And zero issues with that thing out in this heat. Same with the new pressure washer that I bought. That thing was running for like a consistent 4 hours this morning while Abel was pressure washing all the concrete, and the thing ran great. Shout out to the old Simpson pressure washer and to the Harbor Freight Predator generator and to Abel and Chava because they've been running strong as well out in this heat. Well, y'all, this is gonna be a wrap on the video. They've gone ahead and scored everything.
They're gonna come back with a skill saw and they'll be deepening the joints like the one you see right here.
Unfortunately, it's so hot out here, they kind of run out of time today. So tomorrow they're gonna come in, deepen all these joints coming through, and then we should be good to go. Again, it's concrete, it's gonna crack. The only thing we guarantee about concrete is it won't get stolen and it will crack. The whole thing with control joints and putting any type of joint into the concrete is you're trying to tell it to crack here. Obviously, the diamond shapes are a lot more decorative than just putting in the joints like we did down here in the approach. But here's to hoping that they crack only in the diamonds. I am worried, and it probably will end up cracking where this cold joint is over here. Albeit we did dig down into the hard concrete and at least leave enough room to get like 4 inches over top of where these kind of overlapped. So here's to hoping it doesn't crack right there and it's just kind of a visual defect.
We also went ahead and put some cuts into the curbs here. Obviously, with running a diamond blade, you can't get your cut all the way down, but we're kind of hoping and anticipating that the concrete is just going to do it on its own and connect those two, which is a little crack right there.
We're going to take the old workhorse golf cart back up to the house and we're going to put a stamp on this one as done, at least for the video. Like I said, they'll be back tomorrow to deepen all these joints. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button now that you do not miss out on any future content. Don't forget to give this video a like, get a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out workforapparel.com because if there's anything you want in this life, you got to be willing to work for it. You guys are the best. I'm out.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.